Om Sahana Bhavatu, Sahana Bunakatu, Sahaviryankara Vavahai, Tejasvi Nadaditamastu Mavida Vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Okay. So the moon, this is the most important planet in any horoscope, okay, because it is the significator of your Raja Yogas. All the yogas that you have, the Raja Yogas, everything depends on the moon, okay, because whatever translates into the physical plane first happens on the mental plane, and the moon represents this mental plane. Okay, the moon represents this mental plane, and it's very important that the first remedies that you do regarding your chart have to be remedies for the moon, because if you don't, then you'll not be able to enjoy the results that are there from the horoscope. Okay, not bad results don't follow every time, even good results follow in the horoscope. So without the moon being in a good position, or without you being comfortable with the moon, you'll not be able to enjoy the results of your chart. Okay, so the moon in different signs, all right, and these results are primarily from Paladipika as well as from Mantresha, and some of them are also from the BPHS. Okay, so if the moon is in Aries, then I'm not considering the houses, I'm just considering the signs here. Okay, so the moon is a Jala Tattva Graha, and naturally it gets uncomfortable in fiery signs, despite those signs being ruled by friendly planets, right? For example, Leo is ruled by the sun, Aries is ruled by Mars, so both are friends of the moon. Okay, and the moon is also peculiar because its friend Mars, it debiliates it. Okay, because moon debiliates in the sign of Scorpio, right? But the moon is also a yoga karaka for all Mars ruled charts. Okay, for Scorpio and Aries ascendants, the moon becomes a sort of yoga karaka. Okay, the sun also is a yoga karaka for those charts, but the moon also becomes very important, right? Similarly, Mars is also debilitated by the moon. Okay, so in a Mesha, the person gets it gives a short-tempered nature. Okay, and usually these people are always single child. Okay, and they are courageous, of course, and because Aries is the sign of the wanderer, so these people have that tendency of wandering from one place to the other. Okay, these people are inconsistent. They can be lustful if the moon is afflicted by other planets, and they have a problem. They have a fear of water. That means they suffer from some amount of hydrophobia. Okay, the knees can be weak. Why? Because Aries debiliates Saturn. Okay, so the experience of Saturn can make these people have weak knees. Okay, and their nails can be disfigured, their head can be scarred. That means they might have an injury early on in their in their childhood or in their formative years. Okay, and because uh, Mercury rules hair, so these people, they have very little hair on the body. Okay, Vrishabha, of course, is the is the sign where the moon exalts, right? And why does it so? Because Vrishabha is the sign of certainty. Okay, Vrishabha represents all those things which are tangible, which are measurable, and the mind becomes very comfortable when when things are certain. For example, let's say you know that a certain amount of money is coming your way every month, so it becomes very comfortable, right? But what about the situation where where you don't know where your next where your next income is going to come from, or where your next meal is going to come from? So in those cases, the moon becomes very uncertain, and it debilitates. That is in the sign of Scorpio. But Vrishabha stands for certainty, and in Vrishabha, the person becomes very charitable. The hair is curly. These people are very sensuous by nature, and they are very forgiving by nature. Okay, and they have a lot of stability in life. Okay, however, and on the flip side, also these people have a round, prominent face, well developed shoulders, and strong bones as well. Okay, but then If the moon is located in within the first 15 degrees of Vrishabha, it is adverse for the mother. That means the mother will suffer after childbirth. And, if it is located in the last 15 towards from the 16th degree to the 30th degree of Vrishabha, then the father can suffer, okay, after childbirth. Then comes Mithuna. So this produces highly skilled individuals, and Mithuna, the word Mithuna actually comes from the word Maithuna. Okay, Maithuna means sexual activity, right? Sexual copulation. So these people are very skilled in these acts, okay, and they are good looking. They are very flirtatious, if I could put it that way. However, they are intelligent. They are jovial, and these people are usually very pleasant to be around, and they have a very sweet tongue. Okay. Then Karka. So this is the house of the moon, and in my opinion, the moon is most comfortable in Karka rather than in Vrishabha. Okay, because then when the moon goes into Karka, the element becomes the same. Okay, Karka is a Jala Rashi, and the moon is a Jalagraha itself. So the element becomes the same. So the moon is the most comfortable in Karaka. However, it can produce wealth of fluctuating nature. Okay, it gives good knowledge of astrology, and it blesses the person with a lot of, with a lot of fortune, a lot of property. Okay. However, and then, these people, they lose their temper very easily because, just you have seen how the water behaves, right? Just a small pebble into a pond that is calm, it produces ripples all around the pond. So these people get triggered very easily. Okay. And they like watery places. Okay. They are also fortunate in terms of land, in terms of property, and they derive a lot of fortune from their mother as well. Okay. Next comes Leo. Again, being a fire sign, the moon becomes uncomfortable in Leo. And such a person will like to live near hills and jungles. They have strong bones because the sun represents bones. Okay. But they may suffer from hair loss. Okay. And usually people having moon in Leo, they are tormented by a lack of resources in their childhood. Okay. And that may lead to, hunger issues, that may lead to, issues with resources, issues with wealth. All right. And these people, they are very aggressive by nature, but that aggression is more internal. In case of Aries, the aggression is external, but in case of Leo, the aggression is pretty much internal. Okay. And these people, they also love to indulge in royal pleasures. Okay, because Leo is the house of the king. All right, the sun. Then when the moon goes to Virgo, okay, these people have a very strong, opinion about regarding their likes and dislikes. These people are very opinionated. Okay. And these people, they are very learned because Virgo is the most analytical sign. Okay. They love to do analytical works. They love logic. And, they are very, as I said, they are very opinionated, and that can make them a bit unpleasant to be with. Okay. Because they will not shy away from voicing their opinions. Okay. And these people usually have more daughters as children as compared to sun, because Virgo is the sign of the Virgin, right? And they are very inclined towards, dance and music, because Mercury represents dance as well as music. Okay. And these people, they usually get lucky as they can, enjoy the wealth of others. That means they can enjoy a lot of inherited wealth and so on. All right. Then comes the moon in Libra. Okay. So these people are very argumentative. Okay. These people are very argumentative, and they try to be very balanced, but they can be very straightforward in their, in their opinion of things, regarding things and regarding people. And that can make them a bit unpopular amongst their friends. Okay. So they are not the ones who will, use their sweet tongue. Okay. But they are very helpful. They are forgiving by nature. And, because Libra exalts Saturn, so they may face some problems in their limbs. Okay. And usually for males, this is a combination that produces henpecked husbands. Okay. So if you have to look at, this is something that you can use for your predictions as well. If you have to look at someone who is handpicked, see if the moon is in Libra. Okay, not for females. For males, don't, it does not produce a subservient wife, but it rather produces a very handpicked husband. Okay. Then comes moon in Scorpio. So this is the sign where the moon debilitates, because Scorpio is the sign of uncertainty. Okay, and usually these people remain sickly in their childhood. They have very intense eyes. Okay, they have very intense eyes, and sometimes the moon in Scorpio gives atheistic outlook towards life. Okay, and usually these people are very cruel hearted. That means if they can get angry, if they get angry, they can, they can be very cruel towards their loved ones. Okay, they can be very cruel towards their, let's say, towards their friends, towards the people they know. Okay, and usually these people, they have prominent abdomen and forehead, and they indulge in activities that the world considers to be not so good. Okay, like having secret affairs, or getting into secret societies, or maybe getting into into knowledge that is considered to be a taboo. Okay, then comes Dhanu, which is the sign of Scorpio. Sorry, this, which is the sign of Sagittarius. Okay, so Dhanu is of course ruled by Jupiter. So the person has a very sattvic nature, has a very, has a very global outlook towards life. These people are wealthy. Okay, and they are charitable. They have a very eloquent speech. They are religiously inclined. They are courageous. Okay, because Jupiter usually is regarded as a timid planet, because Jupiter is the Brahmin. So you cannot expect the Brahmin to go out and fight in the battlefield. These people are usually very courageous, and they respond very beautifully if you give them love and kindness. Okay, now the moon going into Makara. So this is the house of Saturn. So these people, they are very learned, but they are very serious. Okay, they will have a serious approach towards life. They will have a serious outlook towards life, and they will also end up looking very serious. Okay, and they are charitable. Okay, however, they can be lazy. They can be intolerant of other people's opinions. That means they like to live in their own echo chambers. Okay, and they may face some skin problems later on, but usually these people have very beautiful and tall bodies. Okay, in Kumbha, these people are experimenters, because Kumbha is the sign of the scientists. Okay, so these people are very experimental, and they get attached to women very easily. Okay, these people have a eye for beauty, but on the flip side, they are very nitpickers. That means they would always like things, they would always pick on the small details that they don't like and be very fussy about it. Okay, however, these people can have difficult childhoods. These people can be difficult to deal with. They are usually misfits, because they usually have an inclination of not adjusting anywhere where they don't get valued or where they don't get respected. Okay, now if the moon goes into Meena, that means the sign of Pisces. These people, they they earn by dealing with water products, for example juice, or maybe they are they can earn by dealing in ocean produce like pearls, business of fish, and so on. Okay, they are devoted towards the family, however, and they are able to they are able to overcome their opponents by their goodness. Okay, so that means the person will come to fight with you, but they will run away by looking at your sattva, at your goodness. Okay, and they are very easily yielding. That means they get convinced very easily if you can show them your point of view, and they have a very good nature. Okay, they are charitable, and their bodies are very beautiful and symmetrical. Okay, so then comes the aspect of moon in different signs and the effects of the planets in those signs. Okay, so the moon has been given only one aspect, and this aspect of moon is the aspect of women. Okay, that means where the women will come from. Okay, for example, say the moon is aspecting the 11th house. Okay, say the moon is in the 5th house and the aspect is on the 11th house. So majority of the women in your life, the prominent women in your life, will be coming from your friends and network circles. Okay, this is a very important predictive principle that you must remember. Okay, say the aspect of the moon is on the first house, then you will be surrounded by women. Okay, women will be surrounding you, since your childhood. You will be born and brought up amidst a lot of women. Okay, say if the moon is in the 8th house and it aspects the 2nd house, then your spouse or the prominent women in your life will come from your family. Okay, so that's something that you can try it out in different charts. Okay, but what happens when the moon aspects Aries and the sun is there? In that case, the person suffers from short-temperedness. The person is poor. The person can face wealth issues. Okay, consistently. If moon is aspecting Aries and Mars is there, okay, if moon is aspecting Mars in Aries, then such a person can suffer from dental and eye ailments, injury from weapons. However, these people have high status and they can get ailments of the urinary system. Okay, if the moon is in if the moon is in Aries and Mercury is present, if the moon is aspecting Aries and Mercury is present in Aries, then such a person will be a good speaker, will be famous as a public speaker and will be very, very learned. Okay, if the moon aspects Jupiter in Aries, then such a person will have a very high status and will get a lot of favors from the government. A lot of wealth will come from the government. Okay, if the moon is aspecting Venus in Aries, then such a person will be very amiable, virtuous, as well as good looking. Okay, if the moon is aspecting Saturn in Aries, Saturn anyway is the bilious in Aries, and if the moon aspects that Saturn, it can produce liars. It can produce people who say a lot of slangs. Okay, it can produce thieves or those having a thieving nature. Okay, what if the moon aspects its exaltation sign of Taurus? Okay, so if the moon aspects the sun in Taurus, then such a person will be devoted to agriculture. Undergoes will be open to working hard. They will be undergoing a lot of hard labor and will be servile towards the government. Okay, that means I've seen this in many cases. If the moon is aspecting the sun in Taurus, it usually gives government jobs, because then you are being servile to the government. You cannot speak anything against the government. You have to comply with government orders and so on. Okay, if the moon is aspecting Mars in Taurus, then these people, they excessively indulge in sex. They have a lot of female companions. Okay, and they end up losing their property in the name of searching for physical pleasures. Okay, if the moon is aspecting Mercury in Taurus, in that case, the person is very learned, very talented, highly skilled, and will have an eloquent way of speaking. Okay, if the moon is aspecting Jupiter in Taurus, then such a person will be virtuous, adorable, blessed with a good spouse, and will have very worthy and healthy children. Okay, if the moon is aspecting Venus in Taurus, then it can bless the person with numerous physical comforts and can give a life which is equivalent to a king. Okay, if the moon is aspecting Saturn in Taurus, so Saturn in Taurus, Saturn in Venusian signs gives wealth. Okay, but it is bad for relationships. So if this moon is aspecting Saturn in Taurus, it can give you difficult relationships with your spouse as well as with your mother. Okay, also the person will be ill-natured. That means the person can be a backbiter, can speak ill of others, when they are not around, and so on. Okay. All right. So if the moon is now aspects on Mithuna or Gemini, so if the moon is in Gemini and the moon is aspecting the sun, that means the moon aspecting the sun in Gemini. In that case, the person will be clever, will have good looks, but will be miserable even if these people have a lot of wealth. Okay, I've seen this happening in a few charts. Right, so misery does not require that you are always poor. You can be very wealthy and you can still be miserable. All right, then if a moon is looking at if moon is looking at Mars in Gemini, then these people, they have some speech defect. They can suffer from some speech defect. They can have very fiery speech. They can turn people off with your speech, with your fiery words. and opinions, and it gives a career as a dealer in weapons. Okay, again, moon in the moon aspecting Mercury in Gemini. So this makes a person very confident. This makes a person overcome his opponents by his words. For example, Adi Sankaracharya, he spread Hinduism all across the country by defeating Buddhists in debates. Okay, so this is such a combination. Okay, I don't have Adi Sankaracharya's chart, but this is equivalent to having such a confident nature, such a confident way of talking. Okay, then if moon is aspecting Jupiter and Mithuna, then such a person can be very sagacious. It can give a career as a teacher, as a professor. It can also make one very skilled in mantras. Okay, if moon is aspecting Venus in Mithuna, then such a person has a very beautiful wife or a handsome spouse. They are blessed with conveyances. Okay, and these people, they have careers as people dealing with artificial jewelry and ornaments. Okay, if moon is aspecting Saturn in Gemini, then it makes you it makes you have breaks in your education. It can make you possess second-hand vehicles. Okay, it can also keep you unmarried. Okay, it can keep you unmarried. It can make you bereft of wealth and other pleasures of life. Okay, Saturn in Gemini aspected by the moon can also put you in a lot of debt. Okay, what if the moon aspects Karka? The moon aspects its own sign. Okay, if sun is located in Karka and is aspected by the moon, then such an aspect can produce eye disease of the right eye. Okay, it can make you a government servant. Again, this is a combination for a government job. All right, and it can make you have very little savings despite earning very well. All right, if Mars is in Cancer and the moon is aspecting Mars, then such a person will be very diplomatic. Okay, because Mars debilitates in Cancer, and these people, they will acquire a high status because of their diplomacy, and they will have a weak bodily constitution because Mars is the Deha Karaka. Okay, the Karaka for the physical body, right? So if Mercury goes into Cancer, it can and is aspected by the moon. So this is a condition which Parashara calls as Kirmi Yoga. Okay, Kirmi Yoga. So it can give you very weak limbs. Okay, it can give you problems with your sexual organs. However, it makes you very intelligent. It makes you very street smart. Okay, Adolf Hitler had this combination, and he had one testicle less. He had one testicle less because of this. Okay, if the moon is aspecting Jupiter in Cancer, so Jupiter exalts here. Okay, so this makes a person very wealthy, very famous, almost equivalent to a king, and very, very learned in the arts and Vedic subjects. Okay, if Venus is in Cancer and the moon aspects this Venus, then such a person can have a career as a gymnologist. Okay, and these people have very good looks, very sensuous, a sense of sensuality about themselves. However, it can give association with prostitutes because Venus is water, Cancer is water, and the moon is also a watery planet. So the person can be looking to spread the water everywhere, if you can see what I mean. Okay, if the moon is aspecting Saturn in Cancer, now Saturn in Cancer is a big Raja Yoga. Okay, Saturn in Cancer is a big Raja Yoga because it gives the blessings of Yamaraj. All right, so this can make you have a career in the oil industry. It can make you have a career in metallurgy, or it can make you an extractor of metals. However, it can give you wandering tendencies. That means you will not be able to settle down at a particular place if this is happening. Okay, then moon aspecting Leo. So if the moon is aspecting the sun in Leo, then the person will be blessed with a lot of good qualities. However, they may suffer from a delay or denial of progeny if Jupiter is badly placed. All right, if moon is aspecting Mars in Leo, then such a person will be equivalent in status to a king, very wealthy, have a lot of people under their command, and this is a combination where a lot of people rally behind the native. Okay, you've seen how people rally behind politicians despite knowing about all their misdeeds and everything. So this is such a combination. Okay, moon aspecting the Mars in Leo. All right. So if moon aspects Mercury in Leo, then such a person will be very devoted towards the spouse, and it's a combination for being a good astrologer. Okay. If moon is aspecting Jupiter in Leo, then such a person is very, very disciplined. Such a person is very virtuous, and it can bring fame through, through the public. Okay. If the moon is aspecting Venus in Leo, then it can give you problems with the sexual organ. Okay, it can make you have physical problems like like diabetes. It can bring you problems due to association with women of low character and so on. Okay, then moon aspecting Saturn in Leo, so this this can give issues like bullying, like getting bullied in childhood. Okay, such a person can have a career in agriculture, and such a person can also, if someone has Saturn in Leo and the moon is aspecting it, then you can think about having a career as a as a makeup artist or NSLO or as a barber and so on. Okay, so Parashara uses the word barber, but in the modern world it means you can have career as a makeup artist. All right, then comes Kanya or Virgo. So if the moon is aspecting the sun in Virgo, then such a person will be very, will be very servile towards women, and will be very comfortable, in life, later on in life, after 28, basically. Okay. So Mars, if a moon is aspecting Mars in Virgo, then it can give career as a sculptor. It can make a person very harsh with his or her words. And these people, they will always be eager for battle with their words, not physically, but with their words. Okay. Moon aspecting Mercury in Virgo. So it produces excellent debaters, it produces excellent analytic, people who, it produces excellent analysts. You can have a career as a cricket analyst. You can have a career as a sports analyst. You can have a career as a sports commentator. Okay. There are, intellectuals, public intellectuals who voice their opinions on various forums like newspapers or magazines. So it can make you a analyst, a commentator of, of relevant issues and so on. Okay. If the moon aspects Jupiter in Virgo, then such a person will never fail his word. Okay, so if you are looking for a person who will always keep his or her word, then see if Jupiter is in Virgo and moon is aspecting that Jupiter. Okay, and this person will be liked by everyone. However, the person can face some weighty issues. Okay, some kapha issues, basically. All right. So if moon is aspecting Venus in Virgo, so it can make you marry and remarry a lot of times. Okay, it makes you highly talented. It makes you it makes you very beautiful, but it makes a person very, very opinionated. Okay. Moon aspecting Saturn in Virgo, so this can give memory issues. It can produce diseases like ADHD, Alzheimer's, and so on. And it can make you, dependent upon your spouse's income after marriage. Okay, especially, for males, it can make you dependent on the income of your wife. Okay, I've had this client having Saturn in Virgo and being aspected by the moon, and I said that, you might lose your job after marriage and you might not have a job for a long, long time. And it so happened. Okay, so the person, he got married, he was in a very, high paying job at some MNC, but then he got laid off, and it was almost 9 months after he landed in another job. Until then, he was totally dependent on his wife's income. Okay, then moon in Tula. Okay, so if the sun is in Tula and is aspected by the moon, then such a person will have a weak immune system, poor bone health, and will be humiliated very often because the sun debilitates in Tula. Okay, if the moon aspects Mars in Tula or in a Libra, then such a person will be ill-tempered, addicted to many relationships. Okay, and can be a cold-blooded murderer as well. All right, so moon aspecting Mercury and Libra, so the person can be very, very skilled. Okay, these people are, these people can have good careers as public speakers. These people, can work as soft skill trainers. These people can work as programmers and developers, okay, in MNCs. If moon is aspecting Jupiter in Libra, then such a person can have a career as a jeweler, can have a career where the person is selling precious stones for a high amount of profit. Diamond merchants is a common career for these people, being diamond merchants. Okay, if the moon is aspecting Venus in Libra, then such a person will be very balanced in his or her views. Okay, will be involved in the trading industry. They will have very good decision making abilities in the market, and that makes them very good traders. Okay, it can also give very glowing skin. Okay, moon aspecting Saturn in Virgo, in Libra. Okay, so these people, they are Zen masters. That means they can let go of things very easily. Okay, for these people, peace and patience, they go hand in hand. Okay, these people are extremely patient, and they are very peaceful because they are patient. Okay, so if you look at it, moon represents peace, Saturn represents patience. So if you are not patient, you'll never be peaceful, and if you are patient, you'll always be peaceful, right? Similarly, if you are peaceful, you'll always be patient, and if you are not peaceful, you'll always be impatient. So moon and Saturn, although they are enemies, they have a very strange relationship. None can do without the other. All right. Then the moon aspecting Scorpio. If the sun is in Scorpio and the moon aspects Scorpio, then this person will be learned, will have good relationships with the government, can earn from the government. However, this person will be disliked by others for their wealth, for their attitude. Okay. If moon aspects Mars in Scorpio, then such a person will be very courageous and a voracious eater. However, it produces very realistic behavior in a person, this combination as such. Okay, moon aspecting Mercury in Scorpio. So these people will be crude in their speech, and they are capable of a lot of hard labor. They are multi-skilled, they are multi-talented, and these people are very good at multitasking as well. Okay, then moon aspecting Jupiter in Scorpio. So these people, they are very adherent to the norms of the society. They have a very disciplined way of doing things. They are very disciplined, and they are usually non-compromisable. That means they will not compromise at all regarding their principles or regarding whatever they like or dislike. Okay, so moon aspecting Venus in Scorpio. So this can produce weakness in your sexual organs. Okay, this can produce weakness in your immune system, and it can make you have a career as an agriculturist. Okay, it can make you earn from agriculture. All right. Saturn becomes very hostile in Scorpio, and if moon aspects such as Saturn, then the person becomes very sickly, very greedy, and will suffer from some defect in legs, particularly the left leg. Okay. So next comes Sagittarius, right? So if the moon aspects the sun in Sagittarius, then such a person will be very famous, very wealthy, and will earn wealth from higher education. Okay. If if moon aspects Mars in Sagittarius, then it can make you leader of an army, a leader of a political party in the modern context. It makes a person very valorous. It can give extreme wealth through others. Okay. Mercury. So this is a combination for astrologers, because these people are very good at remembering whatever they have learned. Okay, whatever they have studied, they have a very super strong memory. Okay, and they will always, these people having Mercury in Sagittarius aspected by the moon, these people will always dedicate themselves to their friends. Okay, then Jupiter in Sagittarius aspected by the moon. So it gives a very beautiful, well-developed body. It makes one very wealthy. It gives a lot of religious inclinations, and it makes one very well versed in mantras as well. Okay. Venus in Sagittarius aspected by the moon. So life takes becomes a lot better after marriage. Okay. And these people, it's like Krishna, who married the females who were raped by the demons. So these people, they offer refuge to many females. Okay, and that refuge can be in the by the way of marrying them, or by accommodating them in jobs or in their organizations in whatever way possible. Okay. Saturn in Sagittarius aspected by the moon, so this makes a good speaker. It can make you very skilled. It can make you very able-bodied. It gives inclination to philosophical learnings. All right. However, it makes one very arrogant too. Okay. Now the moon aspecting Makara, right? Capricorn. So if the moon aspects the sun in Capricorn, so this makes a person poor. It keeps a person poor. Okay. The person suffers because of his or her own willingness not to adjust. Okay. It can give a very ugly appearance in childhood, but that ugly appearance can transform into something very beautiful later on. You've seen Hindi movies, right? The person is laughed at when he or she is a child, and then when they become adults, they all of a sudden they transform into something else. So if you've watched Koi Mil Gaya, Kajol's transformation can be not Koi Mil Gaya, I suppose. Kuch Kuch Hota Hai, right? So Kajol's transformation can be linked something to this. Okay. Then moon aspecting Mars in Capricorn. So Mars becomes exalted in Capricorn. Okay. So it makes you a very, it makes you think in a very non-linear way. Okay. It makes you fond of cool things, and it makes you derive a lot of wealth from the government. Okay. Moon aspecting Mercury in Capricorn. So this leads to abandonment issues from the spouse and from children. It can also lead to a lot of debts. Okay. But it makes you skilled in works that require the use of hands. Okay. Moon aspecting Jupiter in Makara. So Jupiter becomes debilitated in Capricorn. Okay. So this can give a lot of weight issues. It can lead to dissatisfaction from children. It can lead to dissatisfaction from friends, particularly backstabbing by friends and so on. Okay. Moon aspecting Venus in Makara. So, these people have a very skewed understanding of relationships. Okay. They don't understand relationships till they reach 30. Understanding comes only after they attain 30. Okay. And they always, they will always derive wealth from females. Okay. Moon aspecting Saturn in Makara. So it makes you rich. Okay. But however, it can make you addicted to the spouses of others. All right. Say, these are the people who might have a very beautiful spouse, but they'll still be addicted to other spouses because they think that the grass is greener on the other side. Okay. Now moon aspecting the sun in Aquarius. So this can make a person, this can make a person immoral. This can make a person take, dubious means to earn wealth. Okay. Moon aspecting Mars in Aquarius. It can make a person wicked. Okay. It can make a person very lazy. However, these people are, very, say, very cold natured. Okay. So these are the same people who can actually murder a person, and then you'll not even know that they have murdered, or they have committed such a gruesome crime. Okay. So moon aspecting Mercury in Aquarius. So it blesses the person with a lot of physical comfort, with a lot of knowledge. Okay. It makes people have a career in public speaking. Okay. Moon aspecting Jupiter in Aquarius. So this is very good for, for having a lot of friends, for having a huge network circle, and a person derives a lot of wealth, derives a lot of support from that network circle. Okay. Moon aspecting Venus in Aquarius. So such a person can be addicted to a lot of females, and it makes a person very timid as well. Okay. And sometimes these people, they are denied physical pleasures by their spouse after marriage. Okay. Moon aspecting Saturn in Aquarius. So it can produce atheistic tendencies. It can produce irreligious tendencies. Okay. However, if the Saturn is also aspected by Jupiter, then it ensures a lot of fame and prosperity after the age of 36. Okay. Now moon aspecting Sun in Pisces. Okay. So Pisces is the house of Kamadeva, the god of sexual union. So such people are very sensuous. They have a very sensuous nature. Okay. And they are usually, born into wealthy families, and they do very good in administrative work, in administrative jobs. Okay, so this is one combination that can produce UPSC aspirants in the modern times. All right, then moon aspecting Mars in Pisces. These people are very intelligent. Okay, however, they like to put themselves in uncomfortable situations to to make the most out of it. Okay, they like to put themselves through a lot of physical austerities. All right, then comes Mercury in Pisces aspected by the moon. So these people suffer from sleep disorders. Okay, they are very intelligent, but the intelligent is very cyclonic in nature. That means the mind is running 24/7, and that actually disturbs the sleep cycle. Okay, moon aspecting Jupiter in Pisces, so very good looking. It produces very wealthy individuals and gives high status and reputation. Okay, moon aspecting Venus in Pisces. Now Venus exalts here. Okay, so it gives a lot of talent in music, dance, and singing. It makes one very learned in the Shastras, okay, in the arts. Then comes moon aspecting Saturn in Pisces. So these people, they have weakness in their sexual organs, but to add to the frustration, they are often tormented by a lot of sexual urges. Okay, and they are usually, this also produces addiction to prostitutes. Okay, this also produces addiction. This also causes addiction to drugs. Okay, this also causes addiction to alcohol. All right. So these are the aspects of the moon, and this is all about the moon that has been mentioned in the classical texts. Okay, so we'll stop here today, and in the next class we will go towards Mars. Any questions till this point? Okay, good. So thank you so much for joining in. We'll meet up next class. Okay, and it's going to be a long haul for all of us because we're covering just one planet in one class. Okay, so thank you so much for joining. I'll see you next week. Namaste. Om Gurave Namaha.